OKC Thunder win the NBA title and the NBA offseason officially begins. The Bulls could sign Josh Giddey to a contract extension as of today. Well, is it coming down soon? We'll talk about that and what the Chicago Bulls could do in the offseason with their assets. We're going to get to all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control over your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Pat, OKC Thunder won the title. We'll talk about that more towards the end of the show. But now, officially as of last night, and not that I expected it, but the Bulls can now re-sign Josh Giddey officially to a contract extension. Teams can now start negotiating and re-signing their own free agents, with the 30th being the date that teams can start negotiating with other teams' free agents. So we should be, over the next 5 days, it's going to be really exciting. We already saw the KD trade go down as well yesterday on Game 7. Do you think a Josh Giddey contract extension comes soon? I have my theory, but I want to hear from you first.
I think that more than likely Josh Giddey is probably going to want to, because of the restricted free agency, he's probably going to want to hear if other teams or what other teams' offers may be. Even if the Bulls were to come to him with an offer right now, I think that there is you don't hit free agency every day, and it depends on what kind of offer the Bulls come at you with. Now, again, we know AK, he'll be arguing with himself and say, $30 million. No, I told you $40 million. No, $50 million. Just give him $50 million. Like, maybe he ends up just coming out the gate and giving Giddey exactly what he's looking for, and Giddey's happy and wants to be here. And so because of that, it ends up being, you get the deal done. But I would assume any good agent is going to tell his client, let's hear what other offers are. So I don't think that it's going to come, within the first couple of days after free agency is here, but we'll see. We'll see, if Giddey's just happy to be in Chicago, which I wouldn't be mad at that either.
See, I think there's zero chance he meets with other teams. The only other teams that really have the ability to offer, the only one is the Brooklyn Nets, who've already said they're not signing restricted free agents. Utah could get there if Collins didn't pick up his option. He did. So I don't think there's really any chance that he meets with other teams. But I don't think that means something's happened immediately. I think with Josh Giddey's cap hold only being $25 million, and he's expected to sign $30 million, I do think they wait, like they have been, to the day before free agency opens to re-sign him. And I think that gives them a little bit more flexibility if they do make a draft day trade, to take on a little bit more salary, to have a little bit more headroom there. I see that's the way it shakes out. But I think before the 30th, when teams can negotiate with other teams' free agents, I think Josh Giddey be locked in.
We'll see. I mean, I think the big thing now is, right, you don't want to just close yourself off to it. And maybe, and the real question is this where he wants to be for the long term? I think that's what it comes down to. The Bulls can lock him up to whatever, but if you want to get out, maybe you do want to have conversations with other teams about that possibility and start trying to lay some groundwork there. We don't know what Josh Giddey's mindset is, because Giddey hasn't said anything. He said he liked his time here, and we'll see what happens. So I think right now, like, after last night, there's no way you can just let him walk. You traded away a piece that very clearly in that final game is a major reason why they end up winning a championship, especially with what we saw from Alex Caruso all season. I don't think there's any conversation on the possibility of letting him walk away for nothing. So I think right now, just listen, whenever the signing does come down, I expect Josh Giddey to be here. The real question is, what kind of team are you going to put around him?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing here, and we'll get into that a little bit more in the second segment here, because the Bulls have a lot of flexibility to really rebuild the makeup of the team and the type of team they are. So that's not anything too bad there. I think when it just comes down to it, it's just the timing of deals. I think that's the thing. Josh Giddey, after going back to Australia for a little while, coming back here to here, I wouldn't be surprised if they basically already have the framework of a deal. It's just officially putting pen to paper, getting that done, getting it locked in, getting it submitted to the league, and then letting it go there. So I think that's going to happen. But Man,
And then the Bulls draft Igor Demon.
Listen, that's like, there's so many people. Like I've been in so many conversations where people try to rationalize either KJ or Igor Demon, and I'm just like, bro.
There's no rationality for Igor Demon. It's like, you don't sign Josh Giddey and get Igor Demon.
Yeah, and people were like, well, he can play the three. I said, y'all said the same thing about Josh Giddey for the first 30 games of the season before you realize he's not going to play the three. Like, I don't get why so many people are get so convinced that they try to change players' positions to try to make a narrative fit. It's like, listen, I'm not here to say that AK may not just draft Igor Demon, but it still won't make sense. And no, you're not just all of a sudden, he's not going to all of a sudden become the perfect small forward to play with Josh Giddey. Like, that just doesn't make any sense.
Him and Colin Murray Boyles are the two that I'm actually kind of scared of, because I'm just like, there's no logic to any of this. Like, I get it. Like, I'm a big Cedric Howard guy, and maybe some people feel like that's a stretch, but at least he fits. He's a catch and shoot player that plays defense really well and can get to the rim. At least he fits. Like, Igor Demon doesn't even fit. And played at Brigham Young.
Yeah, the only thing that you can give that people give it is like, well, he does what Josh Giddey does. We can have two passes out there on the court.
Who's scoring?
Exactly. It's like
that's what I keep asking.
It's so crazy to the people that be like, yeah, but then I just can't wait to see what it would be like to have two dynamic passes on the court. Yeah, but who they're passing it to? You just gonna see keep moving around the perimeter? Like, what are we
just keep throwing it back and forth. Let me ask you this: as I think the Bulls are kind of locked in here, no matter what, to re-sign Josh Giddey. We've been victim of the second half of the season hotness, right?
John Salmons.
Yeah, the I believe the March basketball. You know what I mean? Where it's just like that's exactly what we needed. Is Josh Giddey real, or is that second half just that? Expect him to be the 18-8-8 guy that he probably is, but what we saw in the second half of the season was a scoring fluke that probably won't be replicated.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, I do think to expect Josh Giddey to put up almost a triple-double for an entire season, like that would automatically make it one of the greatest NBA seasons of all time. So if you're expecting that, I don't have that expectation. I've said it multiple times. If that's 80% of who Josh Giddey is, that's a pretty damn good point guard there. Like, and I think that's what it is. It's not about him replicating exactly what they did after mid-February on to the regular season. It's how much of that can you do consistently? And that's still a fair question to ask there. But I think that Josh Giddey can be a 15, 16, 8-8 guy. And I tell you what, like, for where the Bulls are, where we don't have a lot of people like to talk about the Bulls as if we have a future locked in. Kobe doesn't have a deal. Io doesn't have a deal. Vooch is gone. Julian Phillips has one more year if they pick up his fourth option. Dalen Terry's on the last year of his deal. We got Modest. We have Modest. We got Josh Giddey. We got Jalen Smith and P. Will. Those are the players that are locked in.
Hey, listen, if you're talking about the possibility of a future and you bringing up Dalen Terry and Julian Phillips, go back to the past.
So I'm just saying, like the Bulls are still trying to forge this. So I think, like, it as you're trying to figure out what your future is, having a guy that is a 14, 15, 16, 8-8 guy, that's a pretty good piece to have on your team. You just got to figure it out going forward after that.
Yeah, got to build around it. I think there's a lot of pieces that you can do that with. To me, there's a couple avenues that you can go. I do wonder which is going to be better for Giddey, though. Like, when you have a player like Giddey, I think the obvious answer is always find that elite big man to pair with him. But, I mean, there's some shooters in this draft. There's some pieces that you can go out there and add around the perimeter that I think are still deadly. I know people are 100% locked in on Kobe White staying here. I just don't know what that gets you, but maybe with a big man is very different.
Yeah. I mean, we shall see. I mean, the Bulls have the opportunity to get a big man in this draft, the opportunity to get shooters, they have an opportunity to get guards and just say, F it, we're going to double down on guards. They can do a lot of different things. We shall see what's going to happen. But as I alluded to just a couple of seconds ago, the Bulls' future is really wide open, and they have a path this offseason where, I want to talk about the assets that they have to use both in free agency and on the trade market, and kind of set a tone of what the Bulls can do this offseason with everything they have. So we're going to talk about that up next. But first, we do have to get into a message from Olipop. We'll get into that. More Locked On Bulls coming right after that. Olipop is a new kind of soda made for people who love the classic taste of soda, but want something that supports their health. With just 2 to 5 grams of sugar plus 9 grams of prebiotic fiber in every can, Olipop is reimagining soda in every way that's better for your gut. Traditional sodas are loaded with sugar, like 39 grams in regular Coke or 44 grams in orange Fanta. Olipop flips the script with just a fraction of the sugar, no artificial sweeteners, and gut-friendly ingredients like OliSmart, a blend shown to support digestive and overall health. It's a soda that tastes like the real thing, but actually does something good for you. What flavor are you trying first? Cherry Cola, Classic Grape, or maybe Dr. Goodwin, their Dr. Pepper dupe? How does it feel cracking open a soda that actually supports your gut health with OliSmart Prebiotic Blend? Ask Pat about that. How cool is it that one can of Olipop gives you about a third of your daily recommended fiber? Get a free can of Olipop. Just buy any 2 cans in the store, and they'll reimburse you for one. Head to drinkolipop.com/LockedOnNBA to claim your free can and find Olipop near you. That's drinkolipop.com/LockedOnNBA. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
Gut finally adjusted to that prebiotic.
You finally adjusted to it.
Yeah, we good. We're good. We're good.
You're okay now?
Hey, it was some scared walking early on.
Could you imagine if you had started drinking that right before your appearance on Fox?
Bro, no. So literally before I went to Fox, we was looking for food. And Maya was like, you want to go get like Taco Bell or something? I was like, come on now, shorty. You can't be setting me up like that.
That's like asking if you want to eat White Castle, bro. Like, that's crazy. Bro,
now, what are your thoughts on Caleb Williams? Listen, I tell you what, not feeling great about him. I'm not feeling great.
That's crazy. All right. So I want to set the stage here, Pat, and we can talk about this in stages. So we're going into free agency. The Bulls are $46 million beneath the tax apron, the luxury tax. So that gives them an amount of space. We do have our full vet minimum. Our mid-level exception at $14.6 million. We have a biannual exception at $5.6 million. We also have a trade exception of $17 million and another one of $3 million. So that is quite a bit of assets really for the Chicago Bulls to use. Now, we do have 8 expiring contracts on the roster as well that of players that we can look to move or whatever else to facilitate deals. All of our you can only trade first round picks out to 7 years. We got all of our first round picks. So the Bulls have a bevy of tools at their disposal. How do you feel about just the assets that the Bulls have? We can talk about what they can do with it, but the assets that the Bulls have, how do you feel about it?
I mean, if they're anything like how the Bulls have utilized assets in the past, they're going to be things that we're going to watch expire. I think that AK pretty much has the team that he wants in place. Unfortunately, adding a young draft piece to that is probably the extent of what we're going to see this offseason. I doubt at this point you see a Kobe White trade happen. Like with multiple first round picks available to you, you didn't want that deal. You're probably not going to see Kobe White get traded before the draft. I doubt we see Vooch get moved before the draft for anything. So and then even heading into the season, right? Maybe at some point you see Vooch end up getting moved, but like the having all of these assets and all of these things that you can utilize has meant nothing to AK over his time here with the Chicago Bulls. And so I don't expect it to mean anything differently at this point. I think more than likely what's going to happen is me and you are going to talk about it until the very last day. And just like last year, right before it expires, we're going to have an episode where we go, will the Bulls do anything with this thing that kind of is worth something?
Well, the one thing that I do want to say, though, Pat, is that in prior years, they couldn't use like a trade exception without going into the luxury tax. Them being $46 million beneath the luxury tax, technically they can use every bit of, they can use the $14 million mid-level exception, which they have typically used. They can use the trade exception. They can use everything and still maintain under the luxury tax. Does that change the perspective maybe a little bit? I'm not saying, again, major moves, no. But I do think that it could open them up to a Nickeil Alexander-Walker acquisition of something like that, or it could open them up with an expiring contract to make a move to get somebody. I don't think you're going to see like a complete direction-changing move, but I do think you can find the type of moves that support the way that you're trying to play basketball now.
I mean, listen, could there be a move that they could make? Should there be moves that they should make? Yes, I agree with all of that. I think that, you know, the opportunity is there for the Chicago Bulls, and maybe being under the luxury tax this year affords AK a little bit more room to work if it has been that Jerry, which I do believe that too. I'm sure there have been deals in place where AK has brought it to Jerry and he's like, whoa, We don't do luxury tax around here, buddy. I don't know what you thought this was. This ain't Denver. You get back over there. You figure something else out. I'm sure that has happened at least once throughout AK's tenure here, but it's one, I don't know what piece you're going to go out there and add to. Two, we already know that AK loves the idea of the pieces that he has on this team. And so I just don't see, like a Nickeil Alexander-Walker, maybe that's one that could be an interesting move. Probably that level of move is the most I could see the Bulls making, and it would be maybe one move. You know what I mean? I'm not expecting an offseason of like the Bulls wheeling and dealing this offseason to get things done, mostly because they've let a lot of the wheels that should be dealt go flat. So
yeah, and over the weekend it came out that the Bulls have been often in trade talks for Kuminga for 2 seasons now, and that just put me my immediate response to, so it's not happening. Like, and the reason why I say it's not happening is because let me just put it this way. And Pat, stop me at any time if you think my logic is off. This is how confident I feel in this. The Warriors have been in win now mode for those whole entire 2 seasons that the Bulls have been in talks, right?
Yep.
The Bulls had better win now. Let's just talk around this time last year. The Bulls would have had Alex Caruso, Andre Drummond, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic available, right? Those are win now players. Yep. If you couldn't get a deal done then, that's bad. Now let's flip it. Let's look at draft picks. I know people are going to say, well, Haize, they got the Spurs pick back. Okay, let's just take a look at this. Even if they're looking at draft picks, it would mean that they're probably wanting draft picks that come after Steph and Dre's contracts are over. Now they have Jimmy as well, but they all have 2-year deals, right? 2 years on that. So that means that even when the Bulls weren't able to offer the 25 or 26 pick, they still could have offered 2028. They still could have offered 2029. Those are still what they'd be able to offer if they're looking for future picks. They clearly didn't want that either. So unless now they're all in on like a Kobe White or something, to me, the assets that the Bulls have to offer aren't in a position because they would have had those same assets to offer for Jonathan Kuminga before. Jonathan Kuminga is not going to be a Chicago Bull. That's what I come up with.
No, and you're, listen, they needed an inkling of hope to look at. That's modest. They needed something to say, that's our piece. They're not about to give anybody else anything that could possibly take away from Modest Buzelis going out there and being the eventual face of this franchise. That is what AK is going to want. They want their pieces, their moves to make sense. That is the politics of all sports. It's why in football you see good quarterbacks get moved on for younger quarterbacks. He ain't my quarterback. Modest Buzelis is their fix of Patrick Williams. And yet they still somehow find a way to add $10 million to the books to Lonzo Ball. But anyway, like there's my one. Their fix of it is we have to make sure that Modest gets all the looks that he can and continues to improve. Our focus is now that this young man is going to be the face of this franchise. They're not adding nobody that's going to take shots away from that boy.
Now we say that Jonathan Kuminga trade goes down 12 p.m.
12 p.m. I mean, listen, if it does, I'll be stunned because you don't trade for Kuminga and then go, all right, Modest, it's your team.
I mean, you're more on that face of the team thing, and don't get me wrong. Like face, as far as like, I get it in the sense of like, hey, this is our hope, but I don't think they're ready to like build everything around Modest yet because he still has so much that he needs to show. Like, I get it, AK's stupid, but he's not that stupid. Like it's really not like not when you're that raw. Like he's not that stupid to think, oh, now we got Modest, we're good. But that doesn't mean that I think he's going to make like super big moves either. I think they're trying to wait it out and see what Modest is going to do. But we shall see what's going to happen here. I think when it comes down to it.
I don't think it's a you're good thing, but I think it's you want somebody that you selected to be that dude. If it was going to be Kobe, it was going to be Kobe. That'll be cool. It ain't became Kobe.
Let's see. I don't necessarily think that that's true either. They were ready to make Zach that guy, and they didn't draft Zach. Like,
but they paid Zach. Zach then becomes your guy.
Okay, but in that sense, then everybody on this team right now is their guy. They've paid everybody on this team.
No, but you ain't paid nobody like Zach. That's the thing. You paid Zach top of the NBA at that time.
Well, that's because that was the time that he was at. I mean, he wasn't even top. It wasn't even the top of the NBA at that time. Like Zach LaVine's deal was reasonable at the time that he signed it per what he was. But I get what you're saying in that.
My thing is right. Like if you look at the Bears, Cole Kmet is now a Ryan Poles guy. because you said I'm gonna make you a top 5 paid tight end in football.
Yeah,
like, okay.
But Pat, you kind of that kind of hurts your point because they did just draft Colston Loveland.
Well, that's what it becomes. It's like, oh, you my guy. But if I get the guy that's the better guy, nobody's worried about what happened with that guy.
It also hurts your point too because they signed Cole Kmet and then signed Gerald Everett that phased out Cole Kmet in the offense for like 12 games out of the 17 last season. I'm just saying,
Everett.
like.
Gerald Everett didn't get half the looks Cole Kmet got.
What are you talking about,
Cole
bro?
Kmet didn't get half the looks.
Gerald Everett played in more snaps than Cole Kmet for the majority of a higher percentage of the snaps than Cole Kmet for the majority of last season.
In blocking roles and for some reason in screen pass roles.
Yeah, it's because Shane Waldron's the idiot. But I'm just saying that they signed Cole Kmet and immediately changed his role consistently. So, we'll see what happens there. But it's time for your ad read. I was about to
let's do an ad read. We went to football on that. 8 receptions. Hey man, appreciate y'all for tuning in to show love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We're gonna keep this thing moving on. Talking about OKC winning the finals with a very key piece that the Bulls used to have. But first, we got to get into a word from Monarch Money.
Yep, I messed up.
No, dang it.
That was my fault.
Yeah, we were there. We it's okay. We'll get back together. Ever check your bank account and wonder where did all the money go between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment? It's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch Money, I realized just how much we were spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch Money to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
I got you on the rebound, though.
Hey, that's all good. That's all good. Yeah, man.
So
did more rebounding than Miles Turner did.
Last night, the OKC Thunder win the NBA Finals, Pat. Unfortunately, Tyrese Halliburton goes down with what's likely a ruptured Achilles in that. That was painful to see, bro. Like, the moment he went down and how, like, it was instantly, as he went down to the ground, he hit it and start crying. Like, he just knew it was done. But the question that a lot of people are asking here, Pat, is that the OKC Thunder, and I looked over this today, they just won a title with so many of their pieces being young. Their lottery pick of last year didn't even play on the team last year. He's coming over next year. They have 11 first-round picks over the next 4 or so years as well. Is this the beginning of the modern-day dynasty potentially with the OKC Thunder?
That was weird.
Actually, hit the space bar. I have no idea. I didn't even know the space bar did that, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's they have found a way to do something, and I'll go farther than saying just a modern day dynasty. This has an opportunity to be one of the greatest dynasties of all time. What I mean by that is the reason that we started getting regulation on draft capital and free agency and stuff like that is because the Bulls were winning championships and having top 5 picks. Like Stacey King went what, 8?
Something like that.
Stacey King was the leading scorer in the country. You brought him to Chicago and were like, sit on the bench, grab some rebounds, and win these championships with Michael Jordan. Like, you were a top team. So, like, I say all that to say that OKC has an opportunity to do something incredibly similar to that. You're winning championships right now. And you can go out and either use your draft capital to get richer, because it's not even like you got other people's picks that are high.
That's what I'm saying. It's not even their picks. It's other people's picks. Like, you just made a trade with the Phoenix Suns where you gave them one of their picks back, but you still have 2 more picks from them.
And they about to suck. They might actually get better. I ain't gonna lie.
They might actually be okay.
They might actually get better. Adding Jalen Green, adding Dylan Brooks might actually help that team out. But no, like, I think when you're in that situation, dog, and you can still add top 15 players to your team through the draft or trade that pick for a piece that maybe gets you over the hump again and adds a different wrinkle to your team. Like, those are the teams that win for like a decade.
Yes. Like, the Thunder is set up to be what the Spurs were. Where literally we're talking about 12 years of 50-win seasons. Like, if the Thunder did not win the finals, they literally could have said, okay, bet we didn't win the finals. Who's the superstar that's available? Oh, we're about to give you 4 first-round picks. Let's get that. We're now over the top. Now, they don't have to do that, but they could very well look at it and say, all right, listen, we pretty stacked right now. We're going to move the 2027 pick to a team that looks like it's still going to suck in 2032, and then we're going to have their first-round pick there.
And I think that's the part for me where I look at this OKC Thunder team, and I don't think you go out and you're trying to add stars. You're not trying to add big names. You're trying to add pieces that just fit a role. What they did with Alex Caruso was just add a piece that fit in perfectly. Crazy, we didn't get a single pick back. But you add a piece that fits in perfectly to everything that you want to do. I think that's what they utilize it for. I think it's like, oh, we got to eventually, listen, Caruso's what, 32? Eventually, we're going to have to replace that guy.
I mean, or he may already be on the roster in Case and Wallace. He may already be there.
He may already be on the roster. Like, you may have drafted him. You know what I mean? Like, those are the things where it's like, though 31 years old for Alex Caruso. Those are the things to me where you look at who the team is right now. Shea ain't the final version of Shea yet.
That's what I'm saying. Jay Will ain't
the final version of
Jay
Will yet. Lou Dort's probably who he is.
Yeah, he's probably is, but that's still a pretty damn good role player in the NBA.
I mean, bro, where's he rank among undrafted mugs? I got to go through that list. I haven't looked at the list.
Yeah, you have to look at the list.
But, like, he got to be a...
I mean, but he's on the team with another one, Alex Caruso. They may be one, too.
Oh, Alex Caruso got 2 rings that he is very important in getting. I'm just... Listen, OKC's scary.
I just looked at it. The OKC Thunder have 15 players under contract next year, which is a full roster. Now, they do have 2 players with team options in Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams, and AJ Mitchell. But they have 3 first-round picks in this draft. They have too many picks for the open roster spots that they have. And I think it's like that every year for the next 4 years.
Yeah, bro. It's scary. It's scary. All right, before we get out of here, I would rank it. So, number 1, Ben Wallace. He below Ben Wallace? Lou Dort. These all undrafted players.
Yes, for now, I'll say yes.
Ben Wallace, Hall of Famer. That's not surprising. John Starks.
Yes.
Below John Starks. Okay. Udonis Haslem.
Even. Nah, Udonis Haslem, the 4-time NBA champion, right? Or 3?
4? 3. 06, 12, and 13. They only won twice.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so he's below UD.
UD just because of the titles.
Bruce Bowen.
Also got 3 titles.
Also a 3-time champion and 5-time all defensive first team.
Here's the thing though. I can't even say that because those first 2 titles he was instrumental. I was about to say Lou Dort has a bigger role than Bruce Bowen, but no, not in those first 2 titles.
Okay. Connie Hawkins.
Yes, I put him above Connie Hawkins.
Hall of Fame, MVP.
I put him
that's a long time ago, but
yeah.
That's a long time ago. And then some of the other people that round out, Avery Johnson, Brad Miller, Calderon. Why they put his middle name? Jose Manuel Calderon. I've never heard his name.
Manuel, that's crazy.
JJ Barea 9, Rajah Bell 10. That's the top 10 best undrafted. He's top 5 already.
Yeah, he's top 5 already.
That's crazy. And he's so young.
Yeah.
Shout out Lou Dort. Shout out OKC, man. This was the first finals in a long time where I was like, yeah, I don't care who wins this. Like
it was shaped up to be a fun game after and shout out to the Pacers for having the lead going into halftime. Bro, the Thunder came out of that and they was like, oh yeah, by the way, yeah, we're gonna snatch a little bit of hope that you got.
If Rick Carlisle didn't say the worst coaching performance he had of the entire series for Game 7, these Muds might have actually won.
Bro, it literally was Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle was the best coach throughout the entirety of these playoffs. And everybody has a bad day at the office, but why'd your bad day have to come at Game 7?
Bro, I went back because I didn't get a chance to see like everything in totality because I was down in Fox. So like when I was watching the 3rd quarter, I was driving home, so I was really just listening to it. And then I watched the 4th quarter here. Where I went back and watched that 3rd quarter. Why did Pascal Siakam sit down? Why did TJ McConnell sit down?
I mean, you do have to rest him at some point, but and Obi Toppin
not
gave
today.
you nothing. gave you nothing. But
hey, not today. Ain't no rest. You got 48.
The whole season after today. Yeah,
you get the rest tomorrow. You got 48 today. We just lost Tyrese.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ain't no way you'd have sat down. I'd have took your seat out. It wouldn't have been a seat on the bench for you.
That is hilarious.
Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love.
Absolutely. You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Fubo TV, and more. Basically, anywhere you want us, you can get it. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Peace, y'all.
Peace. It's Rocky Belly. That's a funny comment. Miles Turner should get more blame for this series. Dude's an all-star and got played off the floor by Honest Abe Lincoln.
And Tony Bradley.
Tony Bradley got minutes in the third. What are we doing?